Alright boys, welcome back to another video. Knicks Daily here. Today we're going to be discussing what we know so far about next season's schedule. The Knicks, according to Shams, will be kicking it off Tuesday, October 22nd against the Boston Celtics. The Knicks will be looking to spoil the banner raising and ring ceremony for last season's NBA champions. I'm all here for it. Boston is the team that we're targeting. It's the team that everyone's targeting. It's not necessarily just because they're a divisional rival. It's because they won the championship. Everyone should be coming after Boston. The Knicks went out there and they re-signed OG. They traded for Mikal Bridges. They brought back Precious Achiuwa. They drafted, of course, a couple of players on the wing as well. Kevin McCullough, who's on a two-way. They went and they got Hakeem Dadier. Overall, we are just building our team to beat Boston, and we'll have a chance to do that on the opening night of the season, Tuesday, October 22nd. We also know that the Knicks will host the Spurs at Madison Square Garden in the first game of the NBA's 5-game slate on December 25th. I am disappointed that we're the first game. It's a little bit insulting, if I'm being honest with you guys. 50-win team, Jalen Brunson, top 5 player, Mikal Bridges, everyone back. Like Randle is going to be healthy. But hey, at least we're playing. The Spurs getting a Christmas Day game. I mean, Wemby is for real. That is absolutely crazy. He might already be a top 15 player, and he's, what, 20 years old? That's just pretty insane. In terms of the preseason, we're playing 5 games, which is good. 3 of them are at home. So we will kick it off on October 6th against the Charlotte Hornets. That's a road game. Wednesday, October 9th is a home game to the Washington Wizards at 7:30 p.m. Sunday, October 13th is home to the Minnesota Timberwolves. Tuesday, October 15th is home to the Charlotte Hornets. And then Friday, October 18th is at Washington against the Wizards. And then again, we will play on the 22nd against the Boston Celtics. Where I'm at right now with the Knicks is it's time to win a championship, man. If we do not win the championship next season, the season's a failure. If we get to the finals and we lose, it's still a failure, right? It's time to go for the Knicks. Julius Randle, Jalen Brunson in the prime of their careers. OG's back. We've got guys under contract like Hart, McBride, Devo. We ended up, of course, bringing back Precious and Jericho Sims, and Mitchell Robinson's a guy who was under contract as well in his own right. We've got to go out there and find a way to get it done. The fact that Brunson now is going to have more weapons around him is huge, but also having a guy that can rotate around the perimeter defensively. But the biggest player for the Knicks is not going to be Jalen Brunson, because I don't think anyone listening right now is concerned about Brunson. It's going to be Julius Randle. Randle is the mystery of this team because he's going to make or break our season. If we get the all-NBA version of Randle, I believe we're winning the championship, and if we don't, then we're not going to win the championship. What Randle do we get? Do we get the 24-9-5 Randle from last season that was efficient? Do we get the Randle from the first 13 games of last season? I mean, which Randle are we getting? Because when he's at his best, Randle's a top 15 player in the league. He's absolutely unstoppable one-on-one with his physicality. He's also a good passer, a good rebounder, very active as well. Coach Tibbs loves this guy. James Dolan loves this guy. Everyone in the organization loves Julius Randle. He's 29 years old. He'll be 30 in November. Of course, former first-round pick by the Lakers. He spent some time with the Pelicans, too. I mean, Randle on the Pelicans, Lakers at this point feels like it didn't even happen. Whenever I think of Randle, I think of him as a Knick. Once a Knick, always a Knick, of course. But it's time for the Knicks to go out there, and they've got to be able to stay healthy. We know they have depth, but depth only gets you so far because the Celtics, they stayed healthy. Porzingis was the only guy who was really dealing with injuries. Outside of that, everyone was healthy, and they won the championship. If the Knicks had been healthy last season, I personally believe we would have taken Boston to 6 or 7 games. I mean, nobody really even gave the Celtics any sort of trouble. Even the NBA Western Conference champions, Dallas Mavericks, they did not give the Celtics trouble whatsoever. They won just 1 game. So I feel like the Knicks would have taken the Celtics to 6 or 7. And there's some NBA champion teams that probably wouldn't have been able to beat Boston. The Knicks were that good to where they would have been able to compete with them. And we saw that the last game the Knicks went up against the Celtics, they beat them in TD Garden. And they beat them pretty effortlessly. They were up 30 going into the 4th, and then we decided to sit our starters. And that was without Randle. That was without Mitch. But OG was out there, of course, and Mikal Bridges certainly wasn't playing at the time because we traded for him this offseason. So I think the thing for the Knicks is going to be finding out fast how to use this team together, because Mikal Bridges can fit into any roster. He can shoot threes in the corner. He can put the ball on the floor. He can create. He's a great defender. But Randle, how does he fit in with this team? We already know Brunson, Randle, and OG works because we've seen that in January. The Knicks had really their best month in franchise history. And then the injury started to kick in. We lost Randle and OG. Mitch, of course, is going to be a guy who's going to be there to catch lobs and rebound the basketball. But overall, just the biggest thing is going to be how does Randle fit in with his team. But I don't think it's going to be a bad fit because Randle's a guy who he's not the best shooter, he's not the best defender, but in terms of one-on-one scoring, that's what he does best. We know he rebounds, we know he hustles. It's going to be just Randle putting his back to the basket and letting him go one-on-one, but also moving the ball too. And I think Randle's only going to benefit off of this, especially because he said how he's super excited to be out there with this new team. He feels like they can win a championship. And I'm not even concerned with Randle. There was a point this summer where I was like, okay, maybe the Knicks should try to move Randle. That way he doesn't leave in free agency, or that way there's not a concern with fit. But I'm all in on Julius Randle right now. And this is coming from someone who has never really been particularly the biggest Randle fan, but I want him to win here. I mean, I want Randle to win here. He deserves it. He came here when no one else wanted to. He got this started. Without Randle, I don't exist. Like, these views don't exist. The Knicks don't exist. At least a good Knicks team, we'd be pretty trash. So got a lot of love for Randle, but also I know that when he's fully healthy, he's unstoppable. And good luck finding a second option like Julius Randle for the Knicks right now. It's just not going to happen because players like Randle don't become available very often. They just simply don't, right? Like, Mikal Bridges is good, but he's not Julius Randle. He's not as good as Julius Randle. Mikal Bridges is a third or a fourth option on a championship team. But because we have so much depth at full strength, we can get away with Mikal Bridges being a third option. I mean, the Celtics, like, criticize Porzingis as their third option. Porzingis is like an all-star level player. Mikal Bridges is a very, very top-tier, S-tier type of role player. And role player gets a bad rap, but, I mean, when you give 20 a game and you're an elite defender, that's not a superstar. That's, again, just a very high-level player. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm certainly looking forward to going into Boston in the first game. I remember we played Boston, what was it, last year to start the season off, and they beat us in New York. I mean, it was a close game, but I'm just amped up. I'm ready to go. It's currently August 12th. See how I say it's September, bro? I'm just so excited for this next season that I'm almost hoping that time flies. But again, I don't want to just fast forward to the opening night because I want to appreciate every single day the best I can. But in terms of Knicks basketball, this is as excited as I've been ever. Yeah, the 2013 Knicks were cool. Last year's Knicks were cool. But right now we have a championship contender. We're going into the season championship contenders. And I think I might honestly put a bet down on us winning it all. I have not bet on sports in my life, but I think that's about to change. I'm going to put a bet on the Knicks winning a championship. Guys, it's your boy Knicks Daily. I'm out. The New York Knicks should absolutely give Julius Randle an extension, but it should only be for a pay cut. Jalen Brunson took a pay cut. OG Anunoby did not take a pay cut. Mikal Bridges reportedly is expected to take a pay cut to remain with the Knicks. Randle has to do the same, and I understand that this started with him. He's a huge piece to our team. 2-time All-NBA, 3-time All-Star. Randle's probably worth $45 million. I mean, the guy is one of the more dominant players in the league when he's fully healthy. We saw that before the injury in January, that shoulder, that Randle was legit.